Howdy folks, Michael Jansen here from tinyhousedesign.com. I thought I'd give you a little walkthrough of the new Facebook fan page interface. It's a bit confusing and it will be applied to all Facebook fan pages on March 30th or by March 30th, 2012. I had the option today of upgrading to it, so I thought I'd just jump in headfirst and give it a shot. It's not that hard to set up, so if you own or you have a Facebook fan page, it's very easy to make the switch. The primary difference for you will be this main cover image, which actually I think is a wonderful addition to the page. It allows you to brand the page with your business or your brand or your message or whatever it is the fan page is about. The size of the image I found is about 850 pixels wide by 315 pixels tall. Seems to work just fine. Be sure to read the editorial guidelines before you spend a lot of time on it, because they have some limitations on what you can say. It sounds like basically they don't want a bunch of ads up here, so no calls to action like visit my website, stuff like that. Buy now, can't do that. I put this little thing here announcing my new book. I'm not asking anybody to do anything, so I think I'm within their editorial guidelines. But I took out the URL that I had below it on my previous fan page. Over on the left is your profile picture, so this is going to be your logo, something else that identifies you. This is going to be the thumbnail image that appears next to your posts. So in a nutshell, there are now two main images, if you're a publisher of a fan page, that you really can manipulate and help brand your page instead of just one like you had before. Down here so the next thing down the page is the welcome to the page, explaining what the page is about. And then apps will appear here. Right now I've just got the default photos and likes. In your photos album, you can resort now the order of the pictures that it'll show. So you can actually control what will show here as a thumbnail image. So all you do is you go into your photos and you drag these guys around, leaving the one that you want to appear in this top left. So now everybody else is going to find the next portion. So that first part was really mostly for page owners or administrators. This next part is for everybody. And this is the part where it gets really confusing. It's like, well, what happens? Okay, we get this part up here. That makes sense. What happens down here? And I think most people are going to... So I'm a user interface designer by trade. Been doing this for 14 years, something like that. And I think most people are going to miss this because it's not visually dominant on the page. There's this bar that goes down the middle. This is a timeline. Not obvious, huh? Little tiny light blue, light grayish bar in Facebook branded colors. Guys, this should really be dark, by the way. And it should probably look more like a timeline. That's just me, though. And what it's basically saying is right here is now, and you can post something here. It also has this nice box on the top right. I think this is excellent, actually, because this should help create some viral adoption to the page because it shows the end user, all of us, who else are friends of ours who also like this page. So it sort of helps connect in the end user's mind their group of people with people that also follow this page. So scrolling down the timeline, you can see these little dots, tiny triangles that anchor the post on this timeline. It also shows some other things that are getting called out. And these are other ways. So these are recent posts by others on Tiny House Design. So these are folks that are posting on my fan page, which I allow. These are my likes when I like something as the Tiny House Design fan page, etc., etc. So there's some other call outs, and then you can see that flipping back and forth down the timeline from left to right are these little dots and these little triangles showing where on the timeline these things were posted. Okay, that kind of makes sense. sort of. But the other thing you'll miss probably is this little drop down right below the top of the page where it says highlights, friend activity, post by page, post by others. So in other words, you can filter the timeline based on these criteria. So I'm going to do post by page. So this is what I used to default the page to. So now, flipping back and forth, left and right, you can see my posts that I posted on the page. And by the same token, you can see posts by others. Now this feature was kind of there before too, except it didn't flip left and right, left and right, left and right, with these little tiny indicators showing approximately where they were in the timeline. So instead of one linear list, which makes total sense to everybody, you now have this weird left-right paradigm, which I think is going to get very confusing. Until people figure it out, or more people like me make videos like this explaining their UI, which you shouldn't have to do. So other features that the authors can do, they can pin a post to the top. That's nice. So in other words, so I just launched a book, and I've pinned it to the top. So here's the post for the book up at the top. Another thing you can do, and I'm going to scroll down to it, is you can, they call it featured. You can feature something. Oh, and I just clicked the more link basically to show some more things because this one's kind of buried. The featured one will span both columns. So now all of a sudden, instead of going left, right paradigm, it actually spans both of the left, right columns and puts it in the timeline. So theoretically, if you're a publisher and you want to make this make total sense to everybody, you might just make everything featured. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, just throwing it out there. So let's see, what else does it do? Oh, so that happens when you star it. When you pin it, you use the little edit link, the little pencil thing, and it gives you a choice of what you want to do, pin to top. The other cool thing that they've done for us publishers is they've allowed you to change the date of a post. So not only delete it, etc., but actually change the date, which allows you to back post. So if you're trying to keep the chronology correct, like you might on a blog, you can now do that right here within the Facebook fan page. I think that's it. Those are the main changes. So while I like some of them, but I really think Facebook needs to work on their UI when it comes to helping people intuitively pick up on how this thing works. I think once people get it, it'll be all right. The left-right thing will be all right. I mean, they'll go left, right. They'll understand that these are birds of a feather in some cases, but then like when you go into the highlights, of course, the model breaks, and all of a sudden it isn't left, right anymore. It's in terms of timeline, it's like these are the things on the right are different than posts by page in chronological order on the left. So in other words, I'm getting into more sort of UI rule detail, but that's kind of a no-no. You don't make things that are different look the same. When they're different, you make them look different so that people understand it's different. And so they sort of broke a cardinal rule there, or they're bending it pretty hard. But anyway, since we don't have any choice, if we want to use Facebook, this is how they're going to have us do it. I figured I might as well make the video and explain how it works. I hope my tiny house readers have found this useful, and I hope Facebook fan page publishers have also found the short highlight video useful. So have at it. Thanks for watching.